meeting 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
I asked the question, where was the black, the brown, the white, underprivileged, poor kids in this community being thought about when that happened? Where were the senior citizens, the mentally, physically disabled people who use this facility? Where were they included in this decision? And I said, could you come to the NAACP meeting? I'm inviting you to the Y. He looked at me and he said, we'll be there in front of the task force. And I said, open to the public with the media present. They were my 2 terms. And the letter that was drafted by the NAACP on the NAACP official letterhead, which is at the state level and was sent down to the national level, that's it in an email. And I sent it to Ms. Elliott. And on a personal note, I asked Mr. Elliott, with him and all board members, all 41 board members, would they be willing to meet with the NAACP, or we would come to your board meeting and meet?
Just to clarify, there's another Shaun Elliott on staff, right?
That's a Shaun Elliott. That's a Shaun Elliott. And in the email I sent you, I asked you to forward that email to the Shaun Elliott, who's the group president.
Actually,
Can I make a request here? I'm not on any social media. By the way, I think this is a good meeting. I'm glad to hear that you want to come up with ideas and
Yeah.
throw them out. I just don't like that camera staring at me. I mean, I would prefer that, I don't even have social media, and I have no problem with anybody being here.
Now, they do
But
want
I
to
prefer that not be on.
They need to do something for protection of privacy. At our general meetings, we
We'll put it this way.
let people know it's going to be recorded and videotaped. If anybody's uncomfortable with that, they let us know. So if anybody in this room does not want to be on video,
I
then I
prefer
guess
not
you
to
could
be
just
on video, but I have no problem with anybody being in the room. I just don't want this on the internet and whatever else.
yeah,
That's all.
okay.
so is that camera on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not facing certain people. He said he didn't want to go on there.
Like I often tell other folk, I'll write a note to the PO officers that he don't know you out of
But this,
state.
to make this real easy, just take the camera, put the camera directly at me, and that solves everything. Nobody wants to be on video, I'll be on the camera by myself. Take the camera, point it directly at me. Then that solves everything. Candace, do you mind the camera being pointed at you? Do you mind the
I have
camera?
no problem with.
Do you mind the camera?
Being in the room.
Do you mind the camera?
Yeah.
Do you mind the camera? Make sure that they on down are not in the camera.
Just put it.
I don't mind the camera.
Yeah, but the lady next to you, I don't know who owns mine. You don't mind the camera? Okay.
Well, we're.
You just mind the camera. You mind the
Actually, I do as well. For the same
Okay.
reason.
Okay.
I have a daughter, I don't want to be videotaped. I just thought her coming to meet with you guys. I'm not, I didn't come planning to videotape, so I'm not comfortable with it.
It's on you, John.
Okay, the camera's showing on there. It's on the NAACP right there. Okay? That make it a little bit easier?
It's not hard.
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't making it hard, you just keep asking me question after question after question, and I thought I made it clear, but that's okay. Let's move on. Is everybody okay now? Do we need to start over again? So everybody's comfortable in the room, so there's nobody has any hostility? Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable.
Thank you. You comfortable?
No hostility here.
You
I'm
comfortable?
All good.
I'm comfortable, you comfortable? Everybody's comfortable. Okay, first off, will you please tell us why, I need to know, we need to know. I was asking, would you explain to us your mission statement first? Freedom's mission statement.
Well, why?
Why?
YMCA. And as far as your mission statement, want to know if there are 2 separate mission statements from the International YMCA and the Freedom Valley. So, you know, if there are any clarities on that, is there just one mission statement, and what is your mission statement?
So there's 840 approximately YMCAs in the country. Each one has its own board of directors, and each has the ability to have its own mission statement in keeping, they're generally very, very similar, and it usually talks to developing the spirit, mind, and body, and being open to all. And each Y has a different take on its mission statement.
Is there an umbrella mission statement from, like, is there headquarters for the YMCA and?
There's a YMCA, but it's a federation, so it's not a head office. It's an association of YMCAs. Collectively, the YMCAs in the country, those 840 separate Ys, provide direction collectively to YMCA. So it's a federated model, similar to United Way.
Okay, so in my understanding that each I'll just use the term unit, has its own autonomy as far as when it comes down to a mission statement. For what I'm understanding, that there's a generalization of the mission, but no mission statement is the same. And if that is the case, is the mission statement developed because of the demographics of where this unit is located to meet the needs of those in the demographic area, or how is it developed?
Well, our mission statement was developed years ago, and I wasn't here at that time, but typically over time, Ys look at how they're serving their communities, and periodically we'll look at their mission statement.
Is there anyone on your staff or your board who knows what the mission statement is and can recite it?
Word for word, I'm sure we'd all get it a little different.
Listen, we don't have the mission.
Yeah.
The mission statement for the Freedom Valley is to translate the principles of the YMCA Christian heritage into programs that nurture children, strengthen families, build communities, and develop healthy spirits of mind and body of all. Our values of honesty, caring, respect, responsibility are integrated into operations and guide our behavior in the achievement of our mission. That's their own page.
That's off of Freedom's page.
That's all their own page. About us mission statement.
And just one comment off the annual report, it says that everyone, regardless of age, income, or background, has the opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive.
Anything else before we move on? Anybody else have any questions for the mission statement?
I guess my follow-up question is, after hearing what is on your website as far as the mission statement, are you on the mark with it? Are you off the mark, below it? Are you, what are your efforts to maintain the vision for your statement? I mean, I say that because when we ask the question, how many know the mission statement, very few do the mission statement that you're serving. And I think if you don't know your mission, then you can get off focus. And so I would like to know, how close are you to the vision of that statement?
Well, we certainly are in our programming. We inculcate all the four core values that you referred to: respect, caring, honesty, and responsibility. We work very hard at being an inclusive organization, providing opportunities. We try not to exclude anyone intentionally, and we also make sure that our programs are accessible to everyone in the true sense of the word, whether it's physically accessible or financially accessible. Of course, we have limited resources, and so we are able to deliver as our resources will allow.
When you come down to your resources, how do you determine where to use your resources? As far as, and I will, let's just say, I'm going to use the word unit for your locations. How do you determine with your limited resources the priority or prioritize what unit its needs met and the urgency of that?
So ultimately, our board of directors approves an annual budget, and we try to reflect the operations. So we have 18 branches. We have best part of 100 sites where we deliver before and after school or full-day childcare. We do some outreach programs. We do some leadership programs for youth. We deliver try to deliver as many as we can and in keeping with the resources that we have. Over 90% of our revenue is generated from membership fees, childcare fees, camper fees. Last year, we spent almost $8 million in subsidizing individuals that are unable to afford program fees. And that was distributed across all our branches and sites. We have buildings that require repair and upkeep. That's calculated in the budget. And as I say, the final decision is the project the board will approve the budget.
Are there any considerations from your revenue, and you say 90% of your revenue is gathered and comes in through the various sources? How about the donations in and around that branch? Are they used to help in any way to facilitate the issues that you have?
Sure. Generally speaking, people who make a donation to a specific branch want that money to be spent at that branch. So each branch runs an annual campaign where we try to offset some of the costs and subsidize subsidy rate when we come members.
If the donations, Jeff, excuse me, that's his queen just walked in, so if you saw him kids, you notice he walked out of view of the camera. That's my wife, and I didn't know that.
That's my wife, she's a member of the she's a member of the temp committee also. She's in charge of our membership committee. She's the one that actually recruits members of the NAACP. This distinguished gentleman right here is a general member of the NAACP. He's with the Pottstown School District, but he's a member of the NAACP also. Mr. John Elliott.
Just a question. I'm not aware of any campaign for this particular branch. I know we must have a campaign in general for Freedom Valley YMCA, but has there been any Pottstown campaign?
Yeah, we've raised $1.1 million over the last 5 years.
From Pottstown, the Pottstown campaign?
Correct.
Which one of your Ys received the most from your resources?
In terms of operating deficit, therefore being subsidized, it would be the Pottstown branch. But certainly we have a number of communities that we serve that are where we do have the subsidized branch operations or the neighborhoods predominantly lower income. Happy to share some of those with you if you want to know.
How many major contributors do you have in this area for this branch?
Sorry, I don't know the number of donors. We measured probably in the hundreds. We do have a couple of individual donations that are larger, but I don't have all the donors' information off the top of my head.
Okay, could you name maybe at least 3 for major ones that's coming from this area, if you know, or if someone else might know?
Sure. I know that the Pottstown Health and Wellness Foundation has provided us money in the past. There's a trust fund money that's administered by a lawyer. And as far as the other individuals, I'm sorry. And typically, we wouldn't share any private donation information unless we have approval of the donor.
I'm basically interested in institutions such like the school district, health and wellness, and anything else, a corporation of such.
Typically, we don't, as a matter of fact, we don't get any donations from any school districts.
That's not what's listed on your annual reports for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best characterization. There's money that goes through for the PEAK program, which is kindergarten enrichment. They're recognized as that, but the money, the revenue goes, and then the expenses go to cover the cost of that program. So.
But is there anyone from your accounting department here that could maybe define what a donation is versus a fee for service? And when you have an annual report, it says donor recognition at the top, and the Pottstown School District is listed in the top 10, that implies that it's in donation. And you know that the IRS has separate definitions for what a fee for service and a donation are.
Totally. And no, I'm sorry, I don't have anybody on the accounting staff, and I think I was just trying to recognize the cooperation or work with that, but as a strict donation, you're quite right, that's mischaracterized.
Because, I mean, if I'm looking at this as a taxpayer in Pottstown,
Yes.
it's fairly disturbing to see that the Pottstown School District is listed as in the top 5 or the top 10 donations, depending on the year, the last 3 years.
No, it's fee for service for sure.
Sounds like a problem that maybe you should rectify.
Yep, no, I agree. Totally agree.
Mr. Elliott, I would like to know, and a lot of people in the Pottstown community would like to know, how did we get to this point of this Y being proposed to close? I mean, it's my understanding that, and if I'm wrong, correct me, that this decision was probably made a couple of years ago. Again, if I'm wrong on this group, let me know. But the impact that this is having on people in the Pottstown community is beyond belief. And I would like to know, how did we get to this point? When I say we, how did it get to this point where we're having this discussion, we're in this situation?
Sure.
And if it can be, if you do know, when was it first known that you were going to do this?
So the decision was made in November, and maybe I asked the board members here, rather than just me, I say that, confirm when that decision was made.
That's correct. That's when I first started.
Okay, but you made the decision in December, but you just didn't go to a meeting and say we're going to close the Pottstown Y in December. So my question is, when did this all first start?
So it started in the fall, and our board meeting was in November. We presented the information to the board, and they made the decision. So we sent the information out in advance for our board meetings. So that decision was made in November, and we announced it shortly thereafter.
May I ask what that information was that led to the decision?
By all means. First of all, I want to make it clear that we don't want to leave, and we're not intending to leave Pottstown, so we want to provide service to the community.
You don't have to.
The challenge is the building itself. So we had an outside firm come in and go through the building, and there's about $11.5 million of deferred maintenance, 3.5, which is immediate. So for example, our boilers are really big. They're a whole list we've shared with a number of people in the community already, and we're happy to share that information with you, the detailed report that lists all the items. So the building's challenged. You may want to ask, so how did the building get into this state? So prior to the merger, Pottstown and the Upper Perth Y merged with the Phoenixville Y to become the Freedom Valley YMCA. That was 2007. In the years leading up to that, up until about 2002, the deficit was underwritten by the Smith family. That changed around then. In the continuing years after 2002, the branch would operate at a deficit until 2007. As a matter of fact, there was a foundation that was created in advance of the merger to place the assets of the Pottstown Y in the foundation and protect them in case of bankruptcy. And the 2007, 2 years previous to that, the Y lost $300,000. So when the merger happened, and with the Pottstown Y and the Phoenixville Y, we got the Freedom Valley Y, and each year, the Y for the next 5 years lost about $250,000. People have asked. There was an endowment fund of $2.6 million at the time of the merger. The $1 million was directed to the Upper Perth Yeoman Branch campaign as per the donors' direction. Another $1.6 million, $300,000 was paid to past suppliers, people who hadn't been paid for work that they had done on the building. The $1.3 million was spent on the building. Some of it was on things you can't see behind walls, like pipes and infrastructure. Some of it was spent on the lobby and what have you. As a matter of fact, that foundation that I mentioned that was created oversaw all the spending of the money. So that was spent at the time of the merger, and so there was no money left. So the Y continued to lose approximately $200,000 to $250,000 a year, each year for the next 5 years. So then, 5 years ago, the Freedom Valley Y merged with the Philadelphia vicinity Y, becoming the Philadelphia Freedom Valley YMCA. The branch continued to lose money each year. As a matter of fact, between subsidy of branch operations and putting some repairs in the building over the last 5 years, the Philadelphia Freedom Valley Y has put in about $5 million, a little over that each year. It would have been $1.1 million, even more than that, except I mentioned the donations that we received at that time. So if you look at sort of the last 15 years, the building hasn't been reinvested in because of the operating deficits. So I think that's how we reached the point where there was a significant building infrastructure deficit. So the decision was made, how can we serve the Pottstown community in a different way, because you can't afford to maintain the building. So we have the ongoing operating deficit, plus we have all the millions and millions of dollars required for the building. So we just.
But as these deficits were accumulating, who was responsible? Why wasn't action taken?
Well, over the years, I can't explain in detail what happened 10 years ago, but I can say that a number of efforts were made to generate membership and try to drive revenue. Clearly, they weren't as successful as anybody would have hoped for at the time. And in the meantime, the other branches, as part of our Y, collectively provide cover the deficit, the operating deficit of the Pottstown branch.
Shaun, you say, because I can talk about 10 years ago, I had the documents that were put out by me. They were put out by the Joint Merger Committee for Mansfield and Pottstown. And you say a $300,000 loss. Can you prove that somewhere? Because I've never seen it.
So I have, in the previous 3 years, the operating deficits, we do have some information and documentation that amounted to $300,000. They're happy to share with anybody the merger documentation, as well as confirming with some people at that time that there were operating losses.
I know there were operating losses, but you made the statement that there was a $300,000 operating loss.
In the 3 years prior to the merger.
Well, and you said it in 1 year. Because I think in the document I had.
No, if I did, my apologies. In the 3 years leading up, we lost about $300,000 or $300,000 was lost at the Pottstown branch.
And I'd like that be documented somewhere, because I've never seen that. I was involved back then. And I know in the last year before the merger, they were right even.